As for Trump, he told reporters yesterday he knew, quote, nothing about the meetings. And he also seemed to refuse to rule out the notion of a pardon for Maxwell.
Would you consider a pardon or a commutation for Ghislaine Maxwell if she's cooperating?
It's something I haven't thought about. It's really something recommended. It's something I'm allowed to do it, but it's something I have not thought about.
All of this comes amid new reporting from the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal claiming that Attorney General Pam Bondi told Trump months ago that his name was in the Epstein files, according to multiple sources. Trump denies this. To be clear, just being mentioned in the files isn't a sign of any wrongdoing, and we've not independently verified the reporting. The New York Times has also shared a new photo showing Trump signed one of his books for Epstein back in 1997, writing, quote, "To Jeff, you are the greatest." NBC News has neither seen nor verified that inscription. But it adds to the revelations about the nature of their relationship, something Epstein himself was questioned about in his 2010 deposition.
Have you ever had a personal relationship with Donald Trump?
What do you mean by personal relationships?
Have you socialized with him?
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever socialized with Donald Trump in the presence of females under the age of 18?
Though I'd like to answer that question, at least today, I'm going to have to assert my 5th, 6th, and 14th Amendment rights, sir.
A lot of amendments. Joining us now, former Congressman Connor Lamb of Pennsylvania and Annalise Keller, Republican strategist and former communications director to former Senator Cory Gardner. Congressman, I want to get to the Blanche of it all, because it is not normal. You tell me if I'm wrong, you're an attorney. It is not normal for the Deputy Attorney General to be in Tallahassee for 2 days by himself, interviewing someone who is in jail and may have information.
No, that's the kind of thing that I did when I was a first-year assistant U.S. attorney.
Right.
It's also, though, totally unusual to have the president's personal lawyer serving in the Department of Justice at that level. And that's why I think people are losing track of the distinction. The Department of Justice is not the president's lawyer. Those people are supposed to represent the people of the United States. So they're supposed to protect you and me and our families from criminals, not do the president's political business, which is what's happening here.
And so then, Annalise, how are Republicans, and more specifically the MAGA world, viewing the Blanche trip? Because to me, this whole thing is, I don't even see Blanche as the #2 official at the Justice Department. I view him as Donald Trump's personal lawyer. And this has all the feel of just sort of mobster-like behavior.
Yeah, I mean, I think Republicans are tying themselves to knots right now. They're really struggling, both from MAGA world and the congressional Republicans here, who, as you saw, Speaker Johnson had to sort of dismiss everyone and send everyone home because they really couldn't come to any type of resolution on whether they were going to move forward and vote for something that would release some of these files. So I think Republicans are trying to buy Trump some time and allow him to, I don't know, maybe try to figure out some way to get around this to move past it.
But Speaker Johnson is messing things up because he sent them away so they wouldn't have to deal with Epstein. But then he goes on television after the president said this is, quote, a hoax. The Speaker of the House goes on and says this is, quote, not a hoax. So what is Speaker Johnson doing?
You know, that's a good question. I mean, I think it's a difficult position to be in because he knows his conference wants to get answers. A lot of them have been on the record on this, but then they're put in this tricky position of being against Donald Trump, which is a really uncomfortable place for Republicans to be. And this is one of the real issues that has divided Republicans. I mean, we're 6 months into the presidency. There was a little around the Iran nuclear strikes. I think there was a little bit of some division between the Republican ranks, but this is the first thing that I've seen that has really tied Republicans in knots.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's been weeks, and at the end of the day, Donald Trump is the one person who doesn't have to go in front of voters, and so all of the folks in those rooms over there are trying to figure out their voters who love a conspiracy theory, how to not piss them off. You know, I do want to, something I found really interesting that happened this week is right-wing media kind of painting Ghislaine Maxwell as a victim, while President Trump says he is not going, he may, you know, he has the power to pardon her. Let's watch this.
Maybe she wants immunity. Maybe she wants some sort of protection. I don't know. But it's definitely something that is worthy of praise and worthy of our encouragement.
If you do have this information and it's able to come forward, then maybe there could be a discussion about some kind of, I don't know.
I think this is great. I do have a feeling that she just might be a victim. She just might be.
Now, maybe I'm crazy, Congressman, but this feels like they're kind of making it okay for if President Trump were able to decide to pardon her for any kind of reason.
No, you're not the crazy one here.
Okay.
I'm happy to tell you that. I think it's important not to make more of this than it is. Like, they are caught in a lie, and just like a little child, when they're caught in a lie, they do increasingly desperate and ridiculous things to try to find their way out of it. People forget, but Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted in an open courtroom in Manhattan, in which the evidence was laid out in front of everyone to see, the media, the jurors. It was overwhelming. She got a 20-year sentence. The idea that she is sitting on secret information now that she couldn't have come forward with at the time and told the prosecutors about. And by the way, she chose not to get on the witness stand in that trial because she did not want to answer questions under oath. So why would anyone believe that the questions that she's answering in secret to Trump's personal lawyer are somehow going to give more reliable answers than she could have given back then?
And he did the interview by himself. Typically, it would be at least with someone who was on the case, had done.
He should have had you there.
Yeah.